Okay, so technical issue has been solved. Welcome to part two. And yes, it turns out it was
I
it
have a
was
feeling
me.
that this.
It was
I have
me.
a feeling that this happened one other time, but it was my fault because my computer didn't want to
It's me.
cooperate.
I
Hey, at least it was you.
I'm the problem. It's me. I'm sorry. I have to laugh about it. I'm gonna get pissed off.
Oh, that's
No,
funny.
we're gonna just get right back into this. So we ended with Parker coming in, or Parker about to come in with the cash, but uh, sorry. So coughing. We're gonna try and speed through this. So what's funny is uh, so we ended with Elliot dealing with the goon and the look on Elliot's face when he went to get the went to chase after this last goon. So I don't know what I was doing. I think she just stepped away for a minute. In a minute too. Anyways, now I gotta find out. I gotta figure out. Yeah, you get it? You get it? Oh no, she doesn't have her earbuds in. She can't hear me because she's got earbuds in.
Oh, sorry, stuff was about to. I had to grab.
Oh no, you're good on. You're good. So we ended off with Elliot going after like this like last goon. Oh, it's funny. It's like the goon just stays there, looks, and then just the way he starts running away. You know, it's like, come here, boy. And then he starts running like, get right back here, boy. I find facial expressions funny. So
So do
uh,
I.
Doyle, yeah. So uh, Doyle starts getting a bit comfy. Starts talking about the O'Hare job, which we saw happen in the premiere of season one. So season two, episode one. Of course, Elliot takes out the goon. Well, Parker kind of takes out the goon, and then then Parker cracks the safe. So then Parker comes into the bar with the cash. Nate lays it on the table, or Parker's gone by this point. Nate lays the cash on the table. Doyle inspects it, sees his mark, pulls out a gun, points it at Nate, and of course he's all pissed off because Nate realized he is in fact playing with another man's money, which was a lesson his father didn't taught him. And so yeah, so the other poker players are revealed to be cops. So they pull out their pieces, and we get a flashback to Nate telling the players his plan, saying that he's going to get Doyle to not only lay out all of his money on the table, he's going to get him to confess to at least one felony problem. And they're like, I don't know, he's really stupid enough to do that, but I'll sure as hell pay to see that. Which, to be fair, I would be too. So Doyle realizes now he's fucked. So he's like, okay, I'll take what's mine, you keep what's yours, and I'll contribute a little to your retirement fund. And then Nate fucking slams Doyle on the table, holding his like hand, like 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 painfully, and is like, all right, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna leave, and if they come back again, they're gonna arrest you. Or I run to Daddy, and I call up Daddy and say that you blew all your money at a game with a bunch of cops, and then he breaks Doyle's hand. which is like straight mafia movie shit. And uh, yeah, so Doyle runs off, and then the cops look at Nate, and one of the cops is like, "You're just like your father." Which, if somebody told me that, I'd be throwing punches because I'll go into that in a minute. But so it is kind of cool because like they start packing up all this money, and the guards, sure, the cops end up leaving so that they're like, oh, like I was like we weren't here, like I was at the movies all night, and then two other ones like, yeah, me and Johnny went to watch the game, great game. And so they leave everything behind so Nate and Tara can take it to give it back to the families. Parker reluctantly hands it out because like she hands some of the money and then like holds it on for a second before letting go. As that girl loves money. But yeah, so yeah, so Cora comes by. She's got shots for everyone, and Nate is saying like, "I know, like I'm tired. I'm gonna go to bed." I was like, "Oh, we're not." Like, no, no, why don't you stay down for a couple hours, have an appetizer? Because Hardison made a mess in Nate's apartment, and he has yet to clean it up. So that is the main reason why he doesn't want Nate to go up. And then they all start like arguing and leaving because Tara doesn't clean, and Elliot's probably just saying he's got other shit to do. Probably leaving Hardison alone to clean up everything. But Nate does stay behind. Cora sits across from him in the booth. And then she thanks him. And then Nate and says that like you're just like your father. And Nate's like, well, that's just rude to say to someone who saved your ass. And of course, like like he did have good qualities, Nate. You just never seen them. Nate's like, yeah, he like hurt and used people. Of course, like, but he took care of his friends like you do. Oh God. Then she also says that her father would be proud of what they did. And they end the episode with Nate and Cora toasting two fathers. And that's the end of the episode.
That's actually like really sweet and kind of cute.
Yeah,
That's how they end the episode. That's adorable.
yeah, and I find that fact that like they have this conversation interesting because next season we will actually get to meet Jimmy Ford. And it's right because he's like it's interesting because he's like an ass, but like he still like will do anything for Nate. And like he's still like at the end of like the end of the episode we meet Jimmy Ford. Jimmy's proud of him. But it's in like this weird like complicated thing and us also makes his appearance in season 4 that much more bittersweet. The fact because they kind of reconcile in that episode, and then like uh, spoiler alert: Jimmy Ford does die to save Nate. And I'll go more into that in season 4, but like that. This is like the start of that arc, though. This when this episode, we find out more about the relationship between Nate and Jimmy, and we can clearly see it's very strained. mostly because Jimmy has been in prison. But yeah, so and I honestly kind of relate to Nate's plight because I have a little bit of a similar relationship with my own father because I don't like getting too into my personal life, but I did grow up with a father who is a narcissist and was abusive towards my mom. I'm not going to get into too much detail about that because, again, that's personal stuff, and I don't want to be bringing my, I don't want to be bringing too much personal stuff in here. But when you have like a father who actively, who like hurt you and caused you to be who you are, it's very hard to see any good. It's hard to be redeemable, especially if you're like the eyes, like, especially if you're looking at it from the point of I don't want to say victim, but kind of. It's hard to be to look outs outside from the inside. I think is the better way to put it. And in this case, Cora would be kind of like my stepmom, as she would say how he's such a good dad and all that, and then I haven't spoken to him in 2 years, and he's yet to even message me of the fact that I might need open heart surgery. Like seriously, I have not spoken to my dad in like a year, probably closer to two now that I think about it. And so I do understand Nate. And but moving on to less depressive stuff. Uh, I think this episode it really shows how different of a grifter Tara is to Sophie, because we see that Tara like uses her body a bit more. She's not afraid to get seductive, whereas Sophie does the mind games. So I like that difference. So I honestly think this is one of the most clever bottle job episodes ever, or, or bottle episodes ever. And let me explain. So they used bottle four ways essentially in this episode. It's a bottle episode. It takes place at the bar. This is the episode where Nate goes back to the bottle, and Nate says they're doing the wire in a bottle. So that's bottle in four ways, which I think is really freaking interesting. And actually, I believe was there didn't Psych uh mention this episode of Leverage, because they bring up the wire and like Sean says, "Oh, I know a crew in Boston that did it in like in an hour, like
No,
under 2 hours."
no.
I thought it was
This hap- this happened like when it was leverage was mentioned on another show. It wasn't psych. It
I
was
thought it
white
was
collar.
it was White Collar.
Yeah, and it was a diamond heist. But
I
I think
still have hope that they can pull off a like a oh fuck. Lex, help! I'm blanking on the word. They do like a special where they like combine the two. I still am
a
holding out hope.
crossover.
crossover. Why can I not fucking think crossover? I'm sorry, but
Hey,
it
I
should.
couldn't remember the word for a second there either.
No, but yeah, I really still want to do. I really would like a white collar leverage crossover, which might be, but I think there's still now they are rebooting uh, white collar. That has been confirmed. I don't, however, know the studio, but if Amazon picks up white collar, then that means they could combine both shows, which I think would be really freaking interesting. And I also would love that for personal reasons, as there is a lot of white collar leverage fan fiction out there. And I have written one called The Family Drama Job, where my OC, Cara Newton Spencer, uh, is Neil's cousin.
And I have an episode where this is so stupid. I have like it's like a little section of it, but my character Mackenzie in the sequel, daughter Mackenzie, has to call up, shall we say, somebody who knows a thing or two about Diamond Heist in this
Neil
little
Caffrey.
chapter that I'm writing. Yep, and it's Neil and Peter at the same time, because they're like, because they both kind of
That's,
know the opposite sides of like what a diamond heist would be like. And she goes,
yeah.
Neil, I need your help. And he goes, what with? And she goes, oh, you're gonna be so mad at me for saying this. And he goes, just tell me. A diamond heist. And he goes, ooh, do
Uh,
tell.
now, see, what mine is
And then
interesting.
Peter goes, and then
Different.
Peter goes, and then Peter
That
goes, oh hell no, no, Neil, no. But then they all three team up to kind of figure out what was going on. And fun fact, it was somebody that was related to a guy that tried to take out her mom.
I have to
Yeah.
reread that now.
Yeah.
But
I I haven't posted the chapter yet, but
yeah, well, for me,
it's related to someone that tried to take out her mom
in my
in the second book.
yeah,
After I write the
in
second book, there's a hint.
the family drama job, how it starts off is Kyra gets a phone call from her cousin Neil because he needs more bodies in order for them to do a job because they blew the first con. They're half sold on the second. The problem is they need fresh bodies. And of course, Kyra's like, well, why the fuck you calling me? Because I'm a criminal. So she goes undercover. Like the whole team actually goes undercover as their FBI aliases. Peter, of course, figures it out, but Kara manages to, after punching him,
But
saying,
here's the thing,
because I mean,
Peter.
he did pull a gun on her. So, like, what do you expect?
True.
Anyways,
But with my with Mackenzie, Peter automatically is like, wait, does your dad happen to be Elliot Spencer perchance? And Neil goes, Elliot Spencer? Oh hell no.
huh.
And she goes, yeah. He's like, well, that man is wanted in like 7 countries plus France for some reason. And she goes, oh, the diamond.
Sure, I
And
think
then you just
all
hear,
of
son of a
the
bitch.
celebrities in this mall.
No,
And it was,
and then and then you hear son of a bitch, and it's her husband standing by her Mac's husband standing behind, and He goes, babe, what did you tell them? Like, well, it's fun. And oh, when her daddy found out,
Uh-oh.
problems.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm rewatching White. I have nothing else to watch,
Our
and I
color is
forgot
a
how
good.
stupid the first two episodes are. Like you can obviously tell
Hey, look,
how badly written
that's
they
part
are.
okay, that's part of the charm.
I
That's part
know.
so moving on so we're not spiraling on this all night. Uh
But tell me why. Why is Neil Caffrey so cute? I can't handle it.
I I I don't know whether to be fair, uh, like I can't compute like Neil Caffrey within the knowledge that Matt Bomber is gay.
I
It's like
know, but still, come on. That man is adorable. I have to admit, he is.
well, okay, so
His
okay, I
husband is a
shouldn't.
very lucky man.
Yes, so to be fair, I shouldn't specify gay because he might be bi. Whatever. He is married to a
Oh
man
no, he's a gay man. He said so. He
though.
likes strictly
Oh,
just men.
okay. So I didn't want I didn't want to assume. I didn't want
Because
to assume that.
I watched an interview with him a few years ago when he was doing another movie that I had watched that he was in, and he's like, yeah, men are hot. And just the way that he said it was freaking cute. I couldn't handle it.
Which, but to be fair, if he was straight, he'd probably be too powerful.
Yep.
So, but moving on. So, I must say though, the bottle drum is definitely one of the most Irish episodes of television I think I've ever seen because you
I
got the
know.
Irish wing, you got the Irish mark. It was funny is the card. The muscle is literally Liam and Liam's brother.
Yep. Mhm.
Then you got like you know, little like mom mentality, like like the Irish bar.
Yep.
But Nate relapse in this episode is also what begins his downward. So like all the episodes leading up to this was like the beginning of the downward spiral. This is like the tipping point where it's the spiral down. So like all the other like from Sophie leaving to here was all leading up to Nate relapse, and now that is relapse. It's just going to be the downhill of that will eventually lead to the finale. And yeah, I just find this episode really interesting because this really gets into the psyche of Nate, and this is the most we've heard about Nate's past.
Exactly.
Because like before this episode, all we really know about Nate was he was a really good insurance investigator. He is an alcoholic. He lost a son, and his wife divorced him. And he's been in love with Sophie, and he chased everyone and was in love with Sophie. But like we don't know like much about like anything past that point. This is kind of the first glimpse we see of that, which we see that Nate, obviously grew up around mob and mob types. Actually, I lied. First, we actually find out about Nate's mob ties in the pilot episode, or not the pilot episode, season 2, episode 1, the Beantown bailout job, because the mark for that episode recognizes Nate as Jimmy Ford's son. But this is sort of the confirmation that, like, yeah, Nate grew up in the mob world, was taught about crime from a young age, which is funny how you go from crime to then go into seminary school and then dropping out of seminary school to be an insurance investigator. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, this is like, yeah, this is still like the first real glimpse we see it of Nate's past, though, and his ties to Boston, which also makes sense by like even when the team has to, like when the team moved to Portland in for season 5, and then in Redemption, they actually start out season 1, episode 1 is in Boston before they like head down to New Orleans, and then they kind of stay in New Orleans. But it also makes sense now why, like, my Nate might have chose Boston to stay, and also because the first season is set in Los Angeles. Well, first episode Chicago. The rest of the season, the HQ is in Los Angeles. Seasons through sorry, seasons 2, 3, and 4 are in Boston. Season 5 is in Portland. Um, Redemption season 2, or season 1, episode 1 is Boston again. Uh, season 1, rest of season 1 is in New Orleans. 2 and 3 are in New Orleans. Sorry, I had to keep track of all of that for a minute there. But yeah, so that explains like the ties and why we Stephen stay in Boston. And yeah, I just find it. I just actually kind of like this episode. So I don't have. I mean, I think the writing for this episode was really well done. Really well done. Do you have anything else to add?
Nope, I do not.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the outro then. Uh, I once again do apologize about the technical issues that was on my end. Hopefully, it won't happen again. But now I know how to fix it if it happens again. So, just end off. I would like to thank our sponsor, Favorite Pines. You can listen to Perry Pines in Bigfoot Country, 102.1 WIFT at lovemybigfoot.com or the Love My Bigfoot app from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And thank you to Perry Pines for paying, thank you to Seven Mountains Media for paying for the StreamYard service. I'd like to thank our parent company, Netflix.org. If you want to support our podcast, you can find us on Ko-Fi and buy a coffee. To not only support us as filmmakers, or not as filmmakers, Jesus Christ, as content creators, and so we can keep doing this because I do enjoy it. We also have a Discord. That's just the invite code. I still have no other way of inviting people. Um, this is our Instagram, FN Fandoms with Kaylee and Lex. We also have a Twitter, FN Fandoms. Our Facebook is Films and Fandoms. You could go on my website, Kaylee Central Acting. You can find me on Twitter at Miss Movie Fan underscore 67. And on TikTok, I'm Movie Fan underscore 67. You can find Instagram, Alex on Instagram at Alex underscore the Alley Cat. And on Twitter at Alex Daily Cat and TikTok at Alex Daily Cat. And go support our friends at Malt Filmworks, see what they've been up to, and go check them out and support because they got a lot of cool stuff going on. So, the next episode of Leverage we're going to be talking about next week is the Zanzibar marketplace job. And in that episode, we'll see the return of Maggie Collins and get a very interesting look at how Nate drinking is affecting everyone. So, I mean, I don't have anything else. Do you have anything?
Nope.
Yep. So, I guess we'll see you next week for. See, I think we only got Zanzibar, Future, Three Strikes, Maltese, Falcon. So we actually have 4 more episodes left until we're done with season 2. So probably uh, by the end of November, with we're going to be fully done with season 2 of Leverage. And so starting December, we will be continuing with season 3, and that'll probably be a couple months. We may take a week off in November for Thanksgiving. We may take that week off and then take off the week of Christmas in December. But we'll announce all that when we get there. So, yeah, only 4 more episodes to end out season 2, Lex, before we get into season 3, which is actually both of our favorite seasons, is season 3. I can't wait to
I'm really
finally.
excited.
I know I'm really excited too about getting to season 3. No, I'm still so in theory by I don't know, but we're getting close once we finish. Because we're getting kind of up there to season 5,
Yep. The fun's
and
almost over.
no, we
With
still
the
have a
show, at
bit yet.
least.
Though. We still got a bit. Yeah, we still got a bit yet.
I know. But
So don't.
it's like,
We're definitely going to be talking about the season 5 finale. Is definitely going to be bittersweet, and I'm gonna have to make sure I like do. So I'm gonna have to make sure I do my notes for that episode like way early because it's gonna take me
me
multiple
too.
days to get
And I'm gonna make sure I have
so,
freaking tissues.
yes, we're gonna need tissues. I'm probably gonna need a little alcohol. But yeah, but yeah, so yeah, I guess I don't have anything else to add. So you have anything else to add before I end the stream?
Nope. This was fun, even with the technical glitches.
Yeah. Yeah, it was. Alright, so we'll see you guys next week for the Zanzibar Marketplace drop. Bye everyone.